What is good, my people? Welcome back to NFL Marc Draft. It's your boy Mark, man. Today we got an exciting episode. It is the top 10 running backs so far. I know it's early on, so this is obviously going to be subject to change. But as I said before, I like to do tight ends and running backs first because I think tight end is one of the most difficult positions to evaluate. I think running back is one of the easiest. So really excited about this class, man. I don't think there's as much necessarily top end talent as there was last year, but there's a lot of really talented backs, a lot of guys that have different skill sets. And I think depending on the team and the situation that they go in, they can be very, very, very good. I want to give a couple of honorable mentions before I get onto here because these are some guys that I think potentially could sneak into the bottom part of the top 10 in some capacity, but it's going to be fun. And number one is going to actually be Terrion Stewart. He just missed my top 10. But Terrion Stewart's kind of a fun player to watch. First thing, he's a little bit of an older prospect. He's 24 years old. He's played a lot of college football games, but he does not have a lot of tread on his tires at all. But this dude is 5'9", 222 pounds out of Virginia Tech, and he is literally a bowling ball. Really good vision, like solid back, but he's not going to give you much in terms of, speed or, shaking people out of their boots or anything like that. He just got really good contact balance, and he's a very decisive runner. So I look at him like if he's going to be a 1B in more of a committee role where he can get tough yards and be able to grind out the clock, he's a really good back for that. Because again, 5'9", 222 pounds. He's an absolute behemoth of a runner. But he was pretty fun. He's kind of interesting, but he's unfortunately right out of the top 10. But let's start with running backs 6 through 10, right? Starting at the beginning, and this is Nick Singleton. Now, this is somebody that I think could probably rise up the board a little bit as well. One of the more controversial prospects, because if he were to come out last year, I think he would have been a really, really high pick, maybe a day 2 guy. He decided to stay back and play one more year of college football, and his 2025 tape was not good at all. But one thing that you cannot deny with Nick Singleton is the talent, right? 6 foot tall, 224 pounds, very, very talented running back, fluid runner, good contact balance. There's a lot of things that he can do, and he's even decent at catching the ball out of the backfield. But this year's tape was tough to watch, man, because he missed a lot of lanes. His vision just did not seem all that good. It wasn't so much. Sometimes when a player has a really big drop off, you think, okay, did they have some sort of injury that maybe bothered him? Didn't seem like that was the case with Nick Singleton. He wasn't in his bag as much as he normally was. Like I said, missing a lot of cutback lanes. The vision seemed to be really poor there, a little bit more indecisive. Penn State as a whole, just as a team, wasn't all that good. But again, you've seen some really good stuff from him in 2024 especially, right? He had 174 carries for 1,100 yards at a 6.4 average and 12 touchdowns. And he caught the ball 41 times for over 300 yards. So his 2024 numbers were great. His tape was really, really good, but a severe drop off in 2025. So it's going to be, some teams are going to have this kid really high because they're going to really rely on the 2024 tape and maybe give him an excuse for whatever reasons for 25. So we'll see. But Nick Singleton, somebody that could be a riser. You cannot deny the talent with this kid. It's really, really good. But my eyes just tell me, man, he was missing a lot. He seemed like he was a step slow. And I just didn't like what I had seen from 2025. But nonetheless, you can see the talent that he's got. So definitely a fun player overall. All right, number 9 is Damon Claiborne. I don't know if it's Damon or Demon, but either way, he runs like a demon sometimes. This kid, very different style running back than Nick Singleton, right? He's the 5'10", 195-pound running back, but this dude's got the absolute juice. Man, he really explodes. His acceleration is what stands out the most, right? His ability to, maneuver in short area quickness, have the lateral side-to-side movement, and then be able to explode. He's really fun. Doesn't give you a whole lot in terms of power and contact balance, but that's not really the kind of guy that he is. You get this guy the ball in space, and he's really good. A lot of the times with smaller backs, right, some of the issues that you have is that they don't like to run up the middle. Damon Claiborne shows his ability. He'll pop it outside, but he has no problem running up the middle as well. And he was really good for Wake Forest this year, man. He was fun to watch. Again, got a whole lot of juice. And just 179 carries, 909 yards, 10 touchdowns, and he'll give you a lot of good stuff in the passing game as well. And I'm not just talking about screens and all that stuff. Like, he can legitimately catch the ball very well out of the backfield as well. And so can the next guy up on my list. But I like Damon Claiborne. I like some of the juice that he has shown, and I think that he's a really solid overall running back. Which brings us to number 8, and that's going to be Jamari Taylor. Jamari Taylor, man, this is somebody that I think is kind of slept on in this draft class right now. Because the thing about Jamari is when you put on the film with him and you look at him, you think, okay, he doesn't really move like a 5'9", 204-pound back. He's not as quick twitch as a lot of those guys, but he's still a very good runner. Loves to run up the middle. Great contact balance. Someone that really likes to finish off with some violence. His vision seems to be really good. And what I liked about him is, playing on a team like Virginia that's not all that good, and his offensive line wasn't really that good, he seemed to really maximize runs. That's the big thing, is like if the blocking up front's not very good, let's say a run is blocked up for 3 yards, he gets those 3 yards. He doesn't try to do too much. And I think that's really important with running backs in the NFL. It's one of the big reasons why I loved Kyle Monangai last year. It's because I just felt like, man, every single run, he seemed to maximize it. He wasn't going to be the guy that would burn you, that would take it to the house 80 yards, but he can keep the chains moving. And I see a lot of that in Jamari Taylor. But the biggest upside that I see with him is he's legitimately a very good receiving back. Not just from the 43 catches and the 251 yards, but you see this guy line up in the slot running legitimate routes. He gets open. He catches the ball down the field. So he's really good in that regard as well. And, a 5'9", 204-pound frame is not small by any means. I usually like those shorter running backs that are weighed a lot, similar to RG Harvey on my Broncos, a really good size overall. So I wouldn't consider him a small back, but he definitely doesn't do anything spectacularly, but he does a lot of things very well. His vision is solid. His contact balance is good. His short area and lateral quickness is definitely good enough. I would say he lacks a little bit of explosion, but there's certainly enough there, and he's very good at catching the ball out of the backfield. So I like him. And I also like when you look at a running back, and for 2 years in a row, they've just been very consistent. Over 1,000 yards the last 2 seasons each year. 14 touchdowns this past season, 15 touchdowns in 2024. His yards per average is well over the 4.5, 4.8 this year, 5.8 last year. So really solid, experience, but also good production for those 2 seasons as well. So you love to see that. I think Jamari Taylor is a really good running back, and I think he's someone that could go a little bit earlier than we all think he could as well. I was kind of going back and forth between putting him over Le'Veon Moss and going that way, but ultimately I went with Le'Veon Moss at number 7 because even though he doesn't give you really anything in the pass game like Jamari Taylor does, this guy is a bigger running back at 5'11", 210 pounds, but he's got more explosion. Like, he looks like he's the smaller back on film in terms of the way that he moves, but he loves to put his head down and run through people. Unfortunately, he had an injury this year, so his season was cut short, but Le'Veon Moss has a lot of these traits that translate. I love the power that he runs with, the pad level that he runs with. I think he has one of the best vision in the class of the people that I've seen. Like, he's got a really good ability to see it and go, and the explosion is there. So the numbers are not going to be really impressive. He had a better year last year than he did this year, but overall, man, you see the traits with Le'Veon Moss. I think he's a really special type of a player. And I just really was digging. I really like watching Texas A&M as a whole. They got 3 good backs on that team. The Rubin kid, I forgot his last name. Unfortunately, he's not coming out, but he's somebody that popped for me as well. But why do I like Le'Veon Moss? I just think, man, he's someone that's game translates. He's a really solid runner, decisive, again, great vision, very, very efficient with the carries that he was getting. So he's someone to keep an eye on. All right, and then moving on to number 6 is the other Penn State back. I certainly liked Katron Allen more than I liked Nick Singleton, especially this year. But you're talking about somebody that's uber productive, right? In 2024, he had 219 carries, 1,101 yards, a 5 yards per carry average, and 8 touchdowns. And this year, with the same situations that Nick Singleton had, Nick Singleton took a really big step back, and all Katron Allen did was ball out. 210 carries, 1,300 yards for a 6.2 average, and 15 touchdowns. And although he's not like gonna kill you in the pass game, he showed a lot more of the pass game chops to be able to do a good enough job. Solid hands, right? He had 23 targets, caught 18 of them. Not really for a lot of yards, but I'll tell you something about Katron Allen. First of all, 5'11", 219 pounds, runs violently, loves to run through people, finishes off runs really well. The lateral agility for somebody at that size is extremely impressive. I liked a lot of the traits that Katron Allen showed, man. And he kind of seemed like he was the alpha in the room, big time, for Penn State against really good opponents, right? Against Ohio State, he had a big game. He was really, really solid. Against Oregon, like big time teams, I think it was Oregon. He just played really, really well. I liked a lot what I had seen from him. They had a nickname for him that he was like Fat Man, but he got himself into really good shape. But I mean, even in the games again against Ohio State and Indiana was the other one, right? Like wasn't the most effective, but certainly kept the drive going for them, maximized what he was doing. The O-line seemed to really get dominated in those games against the really good opponents, but he was still making the most out of it. So I really liked what I saw from Katron Allen. Despite Penn State kind of being a mess overall, he was just really good. He was just really good. And go watch the Iowa film, man. I mean, Iowa wasn't the worst team. They weren't the best team, but my goodness, 28 carries, 145 yards in that game with 2 touchdowns. He absolutely put the team on his back, and he tore up Michigan State as well. So what you like about Katron Allen is that against competition that Penn State should have dominated and that he should have done really well against, that's all he did is dominate. I mean, Michigan State, 25 carries, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nebraska, 25 carries, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rutgers, 22 carries, 226 yards, and a touchdown in that game. And he's someone that gets better as the game goes on. I don't know how he would fit in a running back by committee role, if he would do as well in that in the NFL. It's weird because they did that in Penn State, but in the games where like he was the workhorse and they featured him, he just got better throughout the game, man. And that violent running style, I think, really translated well. So liked Katron. He could be a riser as well in this class because I think overall he's super, super solid, man. All right, guys. So that's kind of the 6 through 10. Before we get into the top 5, I just want to let you guys know that I have gotten my first ever channel sponsor. This is on my Marquee Sports channel, not my NFL Marc Draft. But down below in the comments, there it's like a affiliate code link through Temu, right? And when I first saw it, I was like, Temu, what? But Temu is actually really dope. They have about 60% of the stuff that's sold on Temu is actually sold on Amazon for a higher price. So check it out. You can use the code below. It's ALP with a code after it. It gets you 30% off of your first order. So try it out. Download the app. It's pretty cool. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Let's get back to the top 10 here. All right, so let's wrap it up, man. And I just realized that I had a typo in Jeremiah's name. So sorry about that, Jeremiah. But let's get into my top 5. And number 5 is going to be Jonah Coleman. Jonah Coleman really ranges on a lot of people's draft boards from as high as number 2 to as low as number 5. Why am I a little bit lower on Jonah Coleman? Well, I think for me, there's a couple things. Firstly, I think he's a little bit of an older prospect. He's going to be a little bit older, but that's not that big of a deal. I will tell you this. I love Jonah Coleman's size. 5'9", 228 pounds. He is very, very strong and will absolutely whoop your ass. And he's got 3 solid years of production in college, man. Very durable, which you love to see. And he's just been a productive back. Like, just go look at his numbers. I'm not going to go through all of them here because it can get really convoluted, but very efficient running back. Very good all 3 seasons that he's been there. 15 touchdowns this past year, over 700 yards with a 4.8 average. And he actually's got some pass catching chops to him. The only reason I'm not as high on Jonah Coleman is because he's not an elite athlete. He doesn't have elite traits. Like his vision is very good and he's a very efficient runner. And he can really maximize and make the most out of runs. The contact balance is incredible, and which you'd expect from somebody that's 5'9", 228 pounds. But he's just not very explosive. He's just not very fast. And I worry that once you get into the NFL, those flaws are really going to start showing. Again, I think he could be a really good running back, but I don't foresee him being an elite running back. I think he's got a pretty low ceiling, but he's got a high floor, which I usually like those backs. And again, Jonah Coleman, it's really going to matter with him where he's drafted. If he's drafted to be in like a David Montgomery role, to having somebody like a really elite running back like Jahmyr Gibbs there, and he's just kind of there to spell them and wear teams down, he's going to thrive. He's going to do phenomenally, right? Think about Kyle Monangai in Chicago as another example, right? So he's a really good guy to be able to do that. Or if you want to go with a team that he's kind of the workhorse, but you're limiting the amount of carries that he can get, and he can just go out there and be really efficient for you, he can do that. But I don't know what kind of a 3-down back he can be, and I don't think he brings a lot of juice to an offense, but he's a really solid running back. As an example, like for my Denver Broncos who have RJ Harvey, I actually think Jonah Coleman would be a really good complement to him. I like the size, but again, lacks the juice a little bit. So that's why I'm a little bit lower on him, but I think he's phenomenal. Let's get into number 4. This guy is slowly becoming one of my favorites. And I'll get to who my favorite running back watching in this class is. But Emmett Johnson, I was very surprised to see just how good he is. So let's go over some of the flaws first, okay? He's 5'11", 200 pounds. So he's not that big of a back. Not a small back, but not very big. And he looks a little bit smaller, right? Especially like in the lower body. You expect somebody that's 200 pounds but 5'11" to not be the biggest. And he doesn't move, like he doesn't have the explosion and the speed of somebody of that size. But where he is absolutely elite is in 2 very key traits. Number 1, his vision is elite. Maybe the best vision in his back. I know I said that about somebody prior, Le'Veon Moss, but Emmett Johnson's vision is unbelievable. But what makes him the next level is his lateral quickness, his side to side, this jump cut that he has is like stands out on film. It is special. Shades of Shady McCoy. That's the first thing that I thought of. Like I've never seen someone move right to left quite like Emmett Johnson does. He makes dudes miss. He is fun to watch in short area, in small spaces, shaking guys out of their boots. And for a smaller running back, he finishes with power. He's shown really good durability. But this last season, man, I mean, he took the Cornhuskers and put him on his back. 251 carries, 1,450 yards, 12 touchdowns, and he showed really good pass catching ability. So this guy's a very complete back. His frame, I think, could hold up in the NFL. I'm excited to see what he shows up at the combine. He might show up at the combine a little bit lighter than 200 or right around 200 if he wants to run faster. Because I don't know if he's a 4.4. He might be a 4.5 guy. Be honest with you. Like, I didn't see that speed really pop. But, man, I'll tell you what. Like, he was fun to watch. His patience at the line of scrimmage, very good. His vision. And the way that he moves side to side, it was something really fun to watch, man. It was kind of mesmerizing. So Emmett Johnson, really solid player. Loved watching him on film, even though I hate the Cornhuskers. Shout out to Emmett Johnson because he was an absolute baller. All right, number 3, this is my favorite guy, man. This is my favorite guy to watch. It's Mike Washington Jr. So let me give you guys a little perspective of what I do. Usually when I'm watching running backs, I like to just gather names of like who are the top prospects off of all the consensus boards, and I'll just go and I'll start watching them. I don't like to know what their height and their weight is at first because I want to see how they move and then maybe try to make a guess, and that can give you a good idea if like, they're a very explosive athlete, if that makes sense. So I watched Mike Washington Jr. and I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is like a 5'11", 5'10" back, 195, 200 pounds max because he is buttery smooth. Like the way that he moves reminds me a lot of Saquon Barkley. And then I looked at what his size was, and he is Saquon Barkley's size at 6'2", 228 pounds. He does not move anything like that. He is very, very smooth, fast, explosive, very impressive for somebody of that size. His vision is phenomenal. And, how he works open space is really good, but man, he'll finish with anger. He's a very tough running back to bring down. And again, his explosion, his acceleration is something special. I think that Mike Washington Jr. is going to tear the combine up. I think he's a 4.4 guy, but you got to pay attention to that 10-yard split. It would not surprise me if he was one of the best 10-yard split guys as well, because you see him explode through holes and just move. And he's not really a shake and bake guy. He just switches directions efficiently without wasting any movements, without slowing down at all. He's a very impressive athlete to watch. 6.4 yards per carry average, over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns on the ground, and he had 36 targets, 28 catches, 226 in the air. He certainly's got a lot of upside as a pass catcher. Wasn't asked to do it as much as I felt like they could have had him do, but he was awesome. He had 34 missed tackles forced. 644 of those yards came after contact. Very explosive runner. I loved what I saw from Mike Washington Jr. I think he's super slept on, but he's got all the traits. He's one of the few guys in this draft that I look at him like that's a 3-down back in every way. He's got the pass catching ability. He's got the frame and the size to be a 3-down back. I think he's decent in protection, and he's only going to get better in that area of his game. Really liked Mike Washington Jr., one of my favorite guys to watch in this class for sure. And I just realized also that I have top 10 tight ends listed on here. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry, guys. I had running backs on here. Didn't change the slide. My bad. But we all know this is the top 10 running backs, not the tight ends. All right. Number 2 and number 1. I cannot believe that Notre Dame didn't make the college football playoff with these guys running the football. Unbelievable. Number 2, Jadarian Price. He was like the Robin to Jeremiah Love, who is obviously Batman. But Jadarian Price is unbelievable, man. He is so good. He would start for any other team in college football, no doubt about it. He's phenomenal, man. This guy is big, 5'11", 210 pounds, fast, physical. Didn't really catch the ball a whole lot because they didn't really ask him to. But like Jeremiah Love would come in and have these unbelievable runs and be super efficient and just kill it. And then they'd put Jadarian Price in, and a lot of the times you wouldn't even notice much of a difference. He's really good. Some people, he's starting to catch a little bit of first round buzz. I understand it. I've never been a proponent of taking a running back in the first round, but I think he deserves to be in that conversation, similar to how Omarion Hampton was last year, because I think he's a better prospect than Omarion Hampton. I think he's got better vision. I think he's a more powerful runner, bounces off guys. The contact balance was amazing. So he didn't have the production that Omarion did, obviously being in a committee role with Jeremiah Love, but dude, I love Jadarian Price. I thought he was so good. His yards after contact, 3.9 yards per carry after contact, 443 on a very limited amount of carries. Super good, super elusive runner. Man, he's good. Notre Dame's whole offense. I watched a lot of Notre Dame, and they run the ball a lot, and I understand why. But kudos to him, man. I thought Jadarian Price was awesome. And kudos to him for staying there at Notre Dame, for showing the loyalty to that program, because he easily could have transferred after the 2024 season and just been, an absolute demon somewhere else. But he stuck around with it. And I love the fact that, like, he showed that he can be really good in a committee role. I think that that's important because sometimes in the NFL, you see running backs that, like, unless they're getting a lot of carries, they don't have big games. But most of the way that teams are set up now is like you might get limited carries, and you have to make sure that you maximize those opportunities. That's something that really stood out to me with Jadarian Price, is like there could be games where he wouldn't have a whole lot of carries, but he'd make the most out of them. And I liked to see that a lot from him. And I think it's important in the NFL because that's how it's going to be a lot of the times in the NFL. You just look around the league, guys, like there's just not a lot of dudes that are workhorses anymore. You know what I mean? But like if you look at him against some of the really good competition, he had limited touches and still was able to maximize what he was doing with those carries. So loved what I saw from him. Think he's a really good player, and I think that there's a lot of pass catching upside with him as well. So excited to see how he tests at the combine as well. But he's 5'11", 209, but he runs like he's 230 pounds. But he moves like he's 200 pounds. So special athlete. And then, guys, what else can we say about the number one running back? If there's anybody, any analyst, I don't care if it's Mel Kiper, I don't care if it's a random YouTube guy like myself, that doesn't have Jeremiah Love as the best running back in this draft, they're just trying to get clickbait. Because this guy, I thought Ashton Genty was the best running back that I've ever evaluated. Jeremiah Love is better than Ashton Genty. This kid is another level of good. 6 foot, 214 pounds. He does everything well. He catches the ball out of the backfield well. He's unbelievably explosive. He's got the home run speed. His vision is elite. The contact balance and the spin move that he's got, man, is ridiculous. The stiff arm. He's the total package. Just so unbelievably good. 199 carries, 1,372 yards, almost 7 yards, 6.9 yards a carry, 18 touchdowns after having 17 last year on the ground. And to add on top of that, 27 catches for 280 yards. This is a Saquon Barkley-esque type of runner. He is elite. I think in day one, he is the best running back or one of the best running backs in the NFL. And the fact that there's a really high chance that he falls to a team like the Chiefs at 9 is absolutely terrifying to me. So let's hope, unless you're a Chiefs fan, let's hope that does not happen. But I can't say enough about this kid. Like, he's just elite in every sense of the word. 896 yards after contact, 4.5 yards after contact per attempt, 56 missed tackles. For a guy that size, he's ridiculous. He's so good. So good. And it was unfortunate for Jadarian Price because it like super overshadowed him. You have to kind of go in and watch, because all of a sudden, number 4 comes out. Number 24 comes in, which is Jadarian, and you're like, damn, this kid is really damn good too. But Jeremiah Love, special player. Unbelievably fun to watch, and definitely worthy of the number 1. Let me know what you guys think, man. That's my top 10 running backs list there. Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, Mike Washington Jr., Emmett Johnson, Jonah Coleman make the top 5. And then we got Katron Allen, Le'Veon Moss, Jamari Taylor, Damon Claiborne, and Nick Singleton will round out the top 10. Let me know what you guys think below, man. This is definitely subject to change. I don't foresee the top 4 changing very much, but 5 through 10, you never know. There could be guys added and there could be guys dropped. But if there's someone I missed, y'all let me know down below in the comments so I can make sure I go back and check them out. Appreciate y'all. Hope you have a wonderful day. We'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.